Welcome to the Jacob and Nick Show.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nick the Thespian here.
Jacob the God.
Nick the Titan.
Jacob the Titan's father.
And today we have a great show for you today.
Oh, do we ever?
Thank you for stopping by.
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Today we're going to talk about... What are we going to talk about, Jacob?
Oh, so much.
We're going to do a lot of chit-chatting.
A lot of chatting, a lot of chitting.
If you are in the mood for chitting and chatting, you're in the right spot.
That's where it's happening.
Este domingo solo por Univision.
Okay, so 2 nights ago, I am at Walmart, and I'm standing in line, I got all my groceries, and I'm ready to check out. And what happened was, there was this old lady that was kind of like, looked so confused, like she looked lost. And she had some stuff, and she was like worried, like she looked scared, and nobody did anything. They were just like watching her. And so she was like standing, but she didn't quite know where she was going to go.
She was trying to figure out who she was going to stick up.
Give me your money, bitch! No, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, someone's got to do something, and no one did anything. So I just like walk over to her and be like, hey, do you need help? And she's like, I don't know what line. I'm like, hey, just come get in my line. And so I just let her get in front of me, and she was one of those like nervous laughs, like, oh, thank you, whatever. And everyone looked at me like, oh, what a nice young man, what a good deed. And in my head, I felt rewarded for that. Like, oh yeah, it was nice. But then I got so freaking mad to the point where I was like about to start crying. Like I was like,
Jesus,
why the hell was no one else going to help this person?
it was Riverside, Nick.
But like, no, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, why was I the only one willing to go over there and ask this old lady if she was, okay, if maybe she didn't know what's going on? The humanity in me got so mad about the people that in the environment, but like, I'm like, oh, people are selfish, they're this, they're that. And then from there, I got to a point where I was like, well, no, I shouldn't be angry that I had to do that. But now I realize that, maybe someone else cared, but they didn't, in that situation, know that they were, supposed to be helping or allowed to help. And so they stuck within their own boundaries. But me going out and doing that also maybe might have made them, oh man, that was cool. Maybe I'm going to do that next time. And kind of started leading that charge to what it sees that, like, if you want that change, then it starts with you, kind of thing.
I mean, I think the obvious answer is it was diffusion of responsibility. But that aside, you just have to wonder that, like, maybe... I always get worried in those situations because I feel like that's your side of the story, but I'm just picturing if I'm on her side of the scenario, and I'm thinking, first off, I grew up in a time where we didn't realize that laying out in the sun all day was bad for your skin. We didn't realize that you couldn't eat lead paint, all that stuff. So I'm maybe I'm 50, 57, 60-year-old, and I look like I'm 85, 90, okay? And I'm walking around, and I'm just trying to think like, oh shit, did I lock my door, did I not? And I'm kind of worried about that. And then some young guy comes up to me, condescending as shit, wants to know, oh, just right this way. And then I think, well, I could either make him feel like an asshole, and I could get really angry about it, or I could just kind of nervous laugh it off, like, oh, thanks, skip a few people in line, and now just save both of us the embarrassment, But I always think, like, how frail was this person? And there's a day when that's going to happen to you. There's going to be a day when you're right on the cusp, or at least society's version of it, and some guy in their 20s is going to come over and walk you over to the stroller as if you need help taking a shit, when really, you're just trying to remember, like, oh, God, did I leave the TV on when I left the house? Oh, fuck, did I close out my NASDAQ trade when I wanted to, Like, that girl is probably running her own Fortune 500 company right now.
No, you didn't see this old lady. Like, she needed help.
She's pretty haggard.
She was, and if I wasn't there, she would have been lost. She would have been wandering around, and just I was doing the right thing, And at what point is the right thing the wrong thing? I don't know, but I feel like in that situation, given the circumstances, I was doing the best.
Obvious. I mean, I don't want to shit on you here, buddy, but I feel like here's what happened.
Oh my God.
Here's what happened.
Oh no.
I was kind of joking earlier.
Oh yeah.
Well, because I didn't see this girl.
It.
Let's just say that she's super old and she's kind of senile.
Yeah.
Right. And so she's sitting there, and just legitimately, she didn't really know where she was, and she was kind of confused on what she was supposed to be doing. Right.
Okay. Got it.
In this strange place, maybe she doesn't even remember how she got there. Right. So here's what happened. Mm-hmm. She's there with her daughter-in-law. Okay. Just dropped the kids off, have to pick up the other one from Taekwondo class, and she's just putting around. It takes her 50 minutes to walk from one side of the store to the other. So the dog-in-law goes, hey, Mima, just look me in the eye. Mima, stay right here. I'm going to run to the back and grab some eggs. I forgot them. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Just stay right here. The second she gets out of eyesight, Mima forgets what she was supposed to be doing. She goes, oh, I've got these groceries in my hand. Was I supposed to be checking out? Was I supposed to be standing there? I forget. So she's winging it over. And then you come over and push her through like a cattle through a goddamn thing. And now she's just looking and going, oh, well, he says so. I don't know. He probably does. And now she's hearing, thank you. Come again. Have a good day. She's got a receipt in her hand. So she's thinking, well, I just paid for this stuff. I guess I'm supposed to be walking out to the car now. And now there's an Amber Alert going off. Some old grandma went everywhere. The girl was thinking, Jesus, I told her to stay right here. What the hell could have happened? Normally she listens to me. And what you just did, you're over here pissed as shit. Meanwhile, there's a grandma on the lam somewhere riding a bus to Tulsa because that's where her husband died 30 years ago. And that's all she could remember about her life.
Oh.
So yeah. Yeah, great. You just fucked over a whole family, buddy. But I'm glad you got the warm and fuzzies for 2 minutes in line.
So that was that story. So today we're going to be constructing a film. What's that thing that we made up? You know, a thing that we've never talked about?
Oh.
What was that? What was that thing?
Caspian Drift.
I'm just asking you to come up with an idea. Well, you know the thing that when...
Caspian Drift.
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, man. Okay, so basically it has to deal with consciousness and determinism and all the idea of free will and, you know, what maketh this experience that we live. Okay? And so it's dealing with all these kind of things of, you know, are you because you're you, or are you just because, is there you?
Because you're me.
Yeah, like what is there? Could I be you? Could you be me? Could they copy me? Would that copy be me, or would I be
Are we more than just the wirings?
Yes.
Is the matter communicating, forming that consciousness? Something
Is there a ghost in the machine?
That's what we're pretty much going to be tackling. So...
Caspian Drift.
Caspian Drift. Did you just make that title up? Yeah. Okay. No, hopefully I'm going to check your journals and like, you've been working on this for decades.
Our whole friendship's led up to this moment.
Like, if you just start like saying some stuff that it seems like you've thought about this a little too much, I'm going to start calling you.
So Hawkstutter, he's a 64 year
I don't know. Let's just make up something up.
I don't know.
He's a Sagittarius.
He's a Libra.
Oh,
Okay.
How many fish does he own?
He doesn't own any, but his wife, her great grandmother, actually was a peanut farmer. So
Have this man removed.
You can't tell this to me.
No.
Caspian Drift, check it out.
Okay, so Caspian Drift?
Caspian Drift.
Caspian Drift. That's obviously, it's going to be a metaphor?
No.
Or it's going to be the ship?
I don't know. It's either going to be the name of the machine, if there is a machine, or it's going to be a name of the location. If this is like super in the future, it's the name of the planet.
So we'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So like right before we started recording this, we discussed possibly like the idea of like
consciousness. That's all you threw out. You said, how about consciousness?
Yeah, and like what if like they actually successfully copied your consciousness and put it somewhere else?
Okay, so wait, did they do that before you were born or now? So is it your consciousness at the time of birth, or is it your... So there's an idea, okay? Mm-hmm. So I guess just a quick catcher-upper is I'm of the mind...
For all you conscious buffs out there.
Well, I'm a determinist, so I'm of the mind that you don't have a shitload of agency. You just kind of... You are who you are, and while I'd like to praise myself over all of my strong suits, I had no choice in the matter.
And while we're there, I do believe in a version of free will where I think there is a preset amount that's determined based on your genetics, but at some point the awareness makes you able to control it and lead it in a certain way. And now that we both threw our things out there, I'm sorry, I just had to throw it out there.
That's fine.
You go.
So basically, my point is, if you were to take me at birth, right?
I did. So my family did, trust me.
before I was born, right? And then you take two clones.
There was actually two of you. No, I'm sorry.
Well, you take, I mean, I don't know if they're robots or they look like you or they look like me or they're just computers or what the fuck, right?
Okay.
And you put in my consciousness and my DNA or whatever the fuck into those two things.
Yeah.
Then now, at 29, are we looking at how all three of us are then?
Oh,
or
yeah, dude.
does this happen when I'm 29 and now it's about going forward? Because all of my experiences and friendships and the things that have happened to me have molded who I am in a way.
Let's make this a movie about both. So like it starts with the man that's already 29, right? And then as the story moves on from there, there's flashbacks or like he tells his story about he was one of those four or whatever the fuck, you know?
Okay, yeah, it was an experiment.
And like he was one that survived theoretically up to
Right.
this point, and so now we have both those layers kind of playing.
Okay.
Like how does that affect him psychologically, knowing that he outcompeted his brothers, his himself,
Yeah.
in other versions, and the story can move on from there, and then maybe one of those comes back or.
Okay, well he can't be him then. He has to be one of the others.
Okay, I love
Right?
it. Yeah.
So he's got to meet the person who he was based on.
Oh man.
Yeah, and now what do you do if the other person who was based on this guy is doing better than you? Now you have to wonder, well, I mean, neither one of us were human. We were both literally given the exact things to start out with, and this person made more of it. So is that a short failing on my end, or is that just the path that happened?
So that starts talking about some of that nurture.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then, so of course, we're going to have to throw into this study, they had some controls, so they threw in a couple sets of identical twins. Some got this done, some didn't.
Oh man.
Right? So now we're dealing with that whole aspect.
Well, so now if you're thinking about it being a study, then all of a sudden there's a master kind of playing like the puppeteer.
There has to be. He has to be into gardening and shit.
Yeah, and so like it'll be one of those where now it's like eventually you got to think that they're going to be ones that want to get almost like Truman Show. They want to get out of the study, right?
Right.
So like then at that point it's them versus the man upstairs.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so does it go that way, or does it go? I
don't know.
I mean, you have to think like there has to be a religious factor where someone says, "Oh, well, these other things are abominations,"
Oh, that'd be
or
cool.
where one thing feels jealous of its counterpart, and no matter how good it's doing, one of them it's just like the leading mathematician, blah blah, but it loses out on the Pulitzer to its other, and it can't have that. Like it can't just it that prize was its birthright, and it got taken away by this other thing just because that thing got coated with its DNA. Like imagine that. No matter how good you are, you're always coming up short to yourself. You know?
Oh.
Yeah. So maybe there's that. I mean, I don't know if we should. I don't know if it should be some kind of a race thing where it's like there's three that call themselves the triplets, and they're actually just super into it. And so if you kill one of them, it's like you're killing, part of the whole.
What if like it's almost like one of those what was the like Brave New World kind of thing where each job was almost like a
Tailor-made to their capabilities.
Yeah, and so
I'm fine with that.
and so each of those jobs was a genetic blueprint about this kind of person that was just made for that job, whatever. And so it's like whenever the subway's running a little low, they just start pooping out some of those like subway workers.
Yeah.
And they have like a set phenotype, obviously a set genotype, but like so because of that they all look the same and they act the
Right.
same. And then like our story revolves around that one person that looks different, thinking differently. There was like a mutation that happened.
Wait, so are you saying all these people were based off the same one model, or is it a bunch of
I was thinking like
duplicates?
I was thinking like for each one, there's one original model for like kind of every job out there.
Oh, okay.
Our story might revolve around one of them that like ends up the mutation makes him think differently than others like him. Or is that going too off the rails for the original story?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I can go with you on that on part, but I do like the idea of making it more intimate, where it's like there's like four of me out there.
Yeah.
It's not a sea of me.
Yeah. So we'll table that one for a future.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be
Yeah,
good.
good future. So like there's four of you out there, and so what's the story about then? Him just dealing with themselves, like, or is it like because at some point they need to be doing something, you know?
Yeah, obviously. I mean,
Yeah, they probably should, right? If people are gonna be paying money, paying $12.50 for this thing.
I mean, it sucks because on the one hand, you can make it real like low rent sci-fi where it's a road trip movie about one of them just going off to find his other 30 years ago, and it's such a run of the mill thing now that it's like it's the equivalent of finding like your birth father or something. Like it's not. Like the guy wasn't even that excited to see him. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's how your life panned out. Oh, you named your dog Fuddrucker too. That's funny. I did the same."
Dude, that's the movie.
So we're just making like a road trip movie
well,
based in a sci-fi
yeah,
world?
so this is how it is. Like he's 29 and his life is, shit.
Yeah.
He's just lost his job. There's no wife, no kids, no nothing. And he just wants to go track down all the others like him to see how they ended up.
Yeah.
And figure out, like, if they had it better. And so, like, he's going around to see if it was him or if it was his environment. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. This is like
I'm digging it.
Dude, we should just, like, let's just start writing this movie.
Yeah,
man.
turn the mic
Yeah,
off.
Turn the mic off.
These little shits don't deserve this.
Oh, my God. This could be fun.
Okay, yeah. I dig it. What if too? So there's 4 of them, and what if the first person he meets is doing incredible for himself, but he just like married rich or something.
Yeah.
So then
So-
it's like,
yeah.
dumb fucking luck. Your neighbor happened to be,
Yeah.
whatever.
But
great.
can you imagine the scene when he pulls up to, like, the mansion?
Yeah.
And he's, like, looking at the thing. He's like, no, this can't be the right address.
Yeah. How the fuck?
Like, a helicopter lands in the back.
Yeah.
He's like,
that
no,
helipad.
He's like, yeah.
Okay, and what about this? Okay, he goes, sees them all, and the first guy's rich, the next guy's kind of an asshole, maybe one died or whatever. And then he goes for the last one, and at this point he's pretty discouraged, but he has to finish him out, and he gets there, and the guy's not there. And then he finds out that guy was going through the exact same crisis, and is pulling up to his house, because he needed to try to search out his people too. So there's another guy there that life ended up so even with his that they're both having the same journey, cross-secting or something.
Oh, man.
Maybe.
You know, be kind of creepy, too.
What?
Like, he gets there. He, like, lets himself into the house. There's pictures of him with, like, a family.
Uh-huh.
Kids, a dog, whatever the hell. And then, like, he sees the note saying he had to go find himself or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just looks at it. All of a sudden, like, the wife's like, honey, blah, blah, blah. And he's kind of, like, puts the note away.
Oh, and he just takes his life?
Just like, hey, I'm taking this guy's fucking story.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking we could do a thing of what if they, like, met and they're both going to this thing and they both have, like, this kind of kismet thing, almost like a Parent Trap or some shit.
Oh.
But they find out that they're both kind of with the other person's soulmate. Which would make sense because if this girl loved person A so goddamn much, she'd have to be pretty close of a match to person B. And maybe that was just the slightest difference that one of them was super into hiking and the other one was super...
But you think they would want to switch? Like, that seems like it kind of taints the story a little bit with, like, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, now the guy's screwing your girl.
It could be a good subplot, like if that happens and it's almost something that it doesn't work out, and of course it doesn't work out, and they just kind of have a good laugh about it. Like, how dire is their situation that they fucked each other's wives just because they thought maybe it was that simple, and now it's like, what are you gonna do? But at the same time, how can you really be jealous? I mean, like, their dicks are the same size, they're both into missionary. It's like, it's at a certain point nobody really tasted anything too different.
So there's that angle.
Okay. Table it maybe.
Yeah, but there's also the angle where you just said, like, he realized he went to the other house, and that's where it ends right there. He was just as lost,
Yeah.
It could be a 2. I don't know if we go too into detail, like, about because I feel like the story.
Or maybe not even that. Maybe the other guy wasn't lost like that, or he was just doing pretty bad too, or this guy was doing.
Or maybe the other guy was about to kill himself. He shows up to his apartment and he's like, I'm sorry, and then he goes, and so he's like, oh shit. So he goes upstairs and the guy's about to jump off the roof and he talks him down off the ledge.
Yeah.
And like that's where he's like, let's just go get some coffee, man. And then like, that's where the movie ends. He saved his own life.
That could be something.
Like at the beginning, he was ready to kill himself, and then after his journey about searching for himself to see what he made of himself, he realized that maybe he is a piece of shit, but at least he's not gonna just phone it in kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is something too, the fact that the whole thing of you go out looking for yourself, searching for yourself, and literally that's what he finds.
Yeah, you literally find yourself and you end up saving yourself.
Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna be called Caspian Rush or whatever the fuck.
Caspian Mist. I forgot what it was. Rift. Was that what it was?
Caspian Rift?
I don't. What was your Caspian? Could have been Caspian Rift. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm
Caspian Clay.
Caspian Clay. Well, Caspian something. Maybe his name was Caspian.
Yeah, but I mean,
they call him Cass.
No, because when I came up with that name, I wanted it to be like a Total Recall mixed with.
But I mean, if we give it like a cliche title, then it's not going to get an Oscar. But if we call it Caspian, whatever the fuck, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, have you seen?
Yeah. And we could make it almost like Wrist Cutters, a love story or whatever, where it's like we set this crazy world, and even if that's the thing, it's like, they thought that by doing this, production would go up 12x, and they thought this would happen, that would happen, and of course nothing changed. You know, like, yeah, there was more output, so people just wanted more stuff.
Yeah.
And it just found its middle ground now too. So everyone has, you know, 5 cars per house, but you can only drive one, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You know, your wife's still fucking the landlord, so what's it matter?
Yeah, the situation is like very sci-fi, but within the context, it's very human and very relatable, and it's just the way it is.
And at this point, 30 years later, it's just a part of the history of the world. It's like there was the beatnik generation, there was the millennials, and then my parents were part of the generation where it was the clone generation. Everyone just had a couple copies of themselves. You know, no one talks about it. That's just a thing that happened.
It's dangerously close to some Star Wars plot now.
You think so?
No, it sounds good.
Clone Wars.
So you want to talk casting, or you just want to...
Well, I mean, are we setting that?
I like that. I
You
like
like
that.
that?
Yeah, I like that. Just
Okay.
like there was that experiment that happened, and now there's like 4 of them, and then his life is kind of crap, so he goes off on this journey before like doing anything stupid to go see how these others have been faring,
Yeah.
and then finds the guy at the end. Perhaps maybe he saves the guy, kind of like
Yeah.
it just kind of ends. So it's like a self-discovery road trip movie.
Okay.
That'd be a good movie.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Let's sign
Nice. I'm done.
on.
So casting. So he's give or take our age.
Yeah,
Okay.
all 18 years old.
A stunning 23.
Stud muffin of a 23-year-old.
I mean, for these kind of movies, I always fight to get Oscar Isaac in there because I think he's obviously,
He's a little older.
yeah, good 15 years too old.
I mean, it would change the kind of idea. I mean, like,
I mean, if anything, maybe it would make sense if he was older, because then it's like, if you're our age, how much can your life really be shit? You
Yeah.
know, it's not like we're stuck halfway into a 30-year mortgage
yeah.
and shit.
Yeah, so
you
let's
know?
get Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Done.
Easy.
That was easy. Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Let him just roll with this thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I would pay to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Oscar Isaac.
I mean, who else do we really need? Because he's playing like
Oscar
4 roles.
Isaac. Yeah, we don't need anyone else. You know, after that, we're gonna be fighting away anyone else trying to like sign on to be just a cameo in it. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe his one of his ex-wives or something, or one of his wives. You know.
Yeah.
We don't need to cast those really. Just
Yeah, just whoever falls in
attached. Oscar Isaac.
Boom. Okay. Now for directing,
Paltrow. And her directorial debut.
I mean, it's sci-fi, so
I don't know. I think
do you want to shoot it sci-fi, or do you want it to be like a Leak Ladder type
I think
thing?
League Ladder, man, like a real version of a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
Like this could happen to next year, you know?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden they discover this.
Maybe we go Van Sant.
Dude, that's
You
who
think
we get.
Gus Van Sant?
Gus Van Sant,
All right.
Oscar Isaac. Now the only thing we have to do is once again, like pretty much what we always have to do, figure out what order we want to walk on stage to accept the Oscar.
I thought we always agreed it's Permo me.
No, I thought we always agreed it was gonna be together at the same time.
Yeah.
No, Jacob.
That's what we'll do.
I think that's it, man.
Do we have it?
Caspian something.
Caspian Drift.
Caspian Rift.
I think it was Caspian Drift.
Caspian Drift. Okay, let's go
Yeah.
Drift.
Yeah.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Perfect.
The Orby has nothing to fear.
Maronyan hit.
Passions.
We've now reached the point of the show where it's time for Nick's Minute. Don't listen to that. Hi everyone, I'm Nick. Today on Nick's Minute, we're gonna make some animal sounds.
Rabbit. Rabbit.
Rope. Rope. Meow.
Ooh, ooh.
That was Nick's minute. Jacob, any closing statements?
Yeah, if ever you see an elderly person, leave him where you found him.
And in case you ever see an elderly person, help them out. That's all on the Jacob and Nick Show.
Dappy.